Kushbu Verma, on behalf of
Can you submit the hard copy of the paper?
Sure. A very good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kushbu Verma. I'm a student of BBA second year from Institute of Technology and Science, Mohanagar, Ghaziabad. Today I'm here to present our research paper on cooperative roles in achieving sustainable development on behalf of my co-author, Dr. Ranjan Tripathi ma'am and Dishika Lamba. Next, okay. First, I'll go with the introduction, the literature review, the objectives and methodology for our research, the case study, and the key findings from that. Then we'll go into the challenges and opportunities operators are facing, and then we'll conclude by the implications and future work. The Sustainable Development Goals have understood the importance of partnership and community and members-based partnerships and how profit distribution among the members are very, very important. And the main area of focus on which cooperatives are working is that profit sharing, the member participation, and the collaboration approach. This is actually aligned with the goals of sustainable development when the goals of both of the communities are same. We have 13 stated facts and research papers on proving how cooperatives play a very crucial and important role in achieving sustainable development goals. Cooperatives work in various different areas, be it the financial cooperatives, agricultural cooperatives, and many others. This shows that how cooperatives are a transformative agent for the society. They help in transforming the society through various aspects, such as when economy faces downturn, they help in stabilizing the economy by providing short loans or a small sum of loans to the marginalized and underserved section of the society. Here, the objective of the research how cooperatives contribute to achieving the sustainable development goals, focusing on economic inclusion, elevation, gender equality, and environmental sustainability, which are the main key areas, key focus areas of sustainable development goals. Operators challenges such as access to capital, regulatory barriers, and capacity limitations. The methodology which we have adopted is a year to 30 years secondary research based. The research adopts a qualitative approach to understand the multi-phase learning. Cooperatives in advancing the sustainable development goals. The methodology involves an in-depth exploration of literature, case studies, and empirical data to provide a comprehensive analysis of cooperatives' contribution. Now, what are the role of cooperatives in sustainable development? These are the main key areas in which cooperatives are working. First is poverty elevation. The approach on which cooperatives generally work is on profit distribution mechanism. That is, whatever profit they guys are earning from the produce by selling it to the market, they distribute it equally among the members of the community, hence reducing the poverty. Gender equality. Many cooperatives in India today are fully women owned and controlled. One of them were women's dairy cooperative societies. They what to do is they encourage participation and leadership among the women entrepreneurs so that They get that empowerment and that motive that yeah, they can take decision for themselves as well as for the cooperatives. Economic inclusion is when each and every member of the society are getting equal opportunities and chances, be it be financial resources or any regulatory frameworks. Everyone is getting equal and enough opportunities. So that's what economic inclusion is. And by providing financial services to the marginalized and the weaker section of the society, cooperatives are promoting economic inclusion, environmental sustainability. There are many cooperatives which are fully based on renewable energies. That means they are reducing our dependency over fossil fuels and hence enhancing the environment and bringing a climatic change in our society. We have done a case study over three cooperatives. First is Amul Dairy Cooperative, which is a very well known and a benchmark for the cooperatives. It has established in 1946 in Gujarat. Before the establishment of Amul, our India was considered as a milk deficient country. And just see what cooperatives have done after the establishment of Amul Cooperative. India has become one of the largest producer of milk. So that's what the power of cooperatives are. This model is based on more than 3.6 million of people and farmers, which are totally from village, were get benefited from this model. Many of them were women promoting gender equality, and whatever they collect milk from the villagers, they make communities within the villages only, and then process it and sell it to the market, hence providing a stable source of income to the producers as well as giving them fair price for their produce. The major area in which Amul Cooperatives has worked upon are poverty alleviation by providing a stable source of income, gender equality, as out of 3.6 billion people, many of them were women, hence promoting gender equality, decent work and economic growth. Amul has created a robust value chain that generates employment opportunity as the processing of milk, retailing it and selling it to the market generates a lot of an n number of job opportunities, hence enhancing the decent work and economic growth. Next case study is on renewable energy cooperatives in Germany. Now, what this cooperative has adopted the approach of community-based approach. That means they have contributed, they have made the contributions of local citizens over there, small businessmen, and even certain municipalities. They work together collaboratively, generate and then distribute renewable energy so that our dependency over fossil fuel reduces and the all over climate gets benefited from this action. The key contributions here are advancing climate action as our dependency over fossil fuel reduces and the emission of greenhouse gases also reduces, so it enhances the climate. Community empowerment. The members of these cooperatives participated actively in decision making. Because the local members know very well about the needs and requirements of the society, hence improving community empowerment. And economic benefits, profits which are generated from these renewable energy products are further reinvested into many local communities and also certain green initiatives, hence enhancing the economic benefits. Third case study is on Kian Savings and Credit Cooperatives. Whenever we need to start any business or anything else, the first and the foremost question that comes into our mind is that from where do we get the finances from it? And let's be honest, in today's world, it is very difficult to get that financial support in the India. And that's where savings and credit corporations work. They provide loans and many other financial instruments such as financial literacy and investment plans to the weaker and the unserved section of the society. The area on which they worked is on financial inclusion. They provide loans to the farmers at a very low rate of interest, and even they provide loans to women without demanding for the collateral. Financial literacy, having financial knowledge and investment knowledge is very necessary. They do provide financial literacy by organizing workshops and programs specifically in rural areas and support for small and medium enterprises. What are the key findings from the case study? From Amul dairy cooperatives, the key capabilities are that they are processing dairy and marketing the goods that are produced in the villages at a good price. Village level cooperative society, all the cooperatives are made in the village level only and hence motivating them to earn a stable source of income. Integration of modern tech with traditional community structure. The main thing Amul did was to integrate both modern as well as traditional structures. That's why they are one of the leading dairy companies even today also. Veterinary services and skill development programs, the veterinary services for the animals and the cows, and skill development programs for the farmers over there. The contribution they are giving towards sustainable development goals are poverty alleviation, obviously by providing a stable source of income to the farmers, gender equality by promoting also women entrepreneurs also to engage in this initiative, decent work and economic growth. The key achievements are empowerment, empowered only over 3.6 million farmers, including women, by providing them fair pricing, infrastructure, and technical support. Boosted rural economic resilience and poverty alleviation through a stable income model. Revolutionized India's dairy industry, becoming the world's largest milk producer, and enhanced the financial independence and social standing of women farmers. These are the key achievements of Amul Cooperative. The key capabilities of renewable energy cooperatives is that they are fully community-led cooperatives. That means the local citizens, the small-scale industry, and certain municipalities have contributed in this cooperation, and they are together producing renewable energy and distributing among the people. Local citizen businesses involvement in decision making, as discussed earlier, reinvestment of the profit into local communities and many other green initiatives, and sustainable project energy contributing to environmental sustainability. When our dependency over fossil fuel reduces, it will eventually help in making a society as a whole, as a in environmental stability and making society good as a whole. How it is contributing to sustainable development goals, climate action, community empowerment, and economic benefits. The key achievements are they help Germany reduce resilience on fossil fuels, advancing climate action, inspired similar global energy models with decentralized local energy products. Many of the cooperatives get inspired from the working of this cooperative, such as Energy Wind now, and they are also producing the renewable energy and providing it to the people. Supported the job creation in the renewable energy sector and local infrastructure, and promoted energy dependency and democratized access to clean energy. Now on savings and credit cooperatives, they have provided financial inclusion through savings, loans, and insurance services. They provide various financial instruments, including these financial literacy program, service supporting smallholder farmers and entrepreneurs by providing them micro loans and even loans without collateral with very low or no interest rates. Digital platform integration. To increase their engagement, they have even introduced a digitalization in their structure. Their role in sustainable development goals is they have reduced financial exclusion and promoted financial literacy. The key capabilities are that they have provided affordable credit to unserved populations, farmers, small scale industries, and enhances financial inclusion, catalyze growth of small scale enterprises through access to microloans and various financial instruments and education, fostering economic resilience by improving access to credit for individuals, businesses, and driving job creation, and expanded financial services to remote communities supporting sustainable and inclusive development as a whole. Now, despite of so many things that cooperatives, just 2 minutes more. There are certain challenges and opportunities. The opportunities for them is technological advancements, as the IT industry is in boom at this stage. So they have opportunity in this. Policy support. The governments are even recognizing their work and making policy in favor of the cooperatives. Global network partnership with international networks, enhancing their skills and the purpose of doing the project. Sustainability is a need of an hour, and hence it's a good opportunity. And youth and women inclusion. By empowering youth, we can expect a great level of innovation in this sector. Here are the challenges First and the foremost is access to capital. Although many cooperatives are do providing financial assessment to the cooperatives, still there is a huge gap which can be noticed in the society. Funding limitations, expansion hurdles, they do find very problems in expanding the operation due to funding issues only. Capacity constraints, managerial expert and technical skills. Farmers in village do lack technical and managerial skills in them, which is a great concern, area of concern. Innovation hurdles, inconsistent framework and regulatory barriers. There are certain policies of government which do restrain their workings in this sector. Market reach, resource disparity, and market competition. The products which they guys are producing here in the villages are going to sell under the same roof where large scale enterprises are selling their products. Hence, there is a huge market competition. In concluding, I would like to say that cooperatives are playing a huge role, not just in sustainable development goals, in achieving those goals, but also for society as a whole. It's a member-driven community, fully member-driven community. The profits are going to distribute among the members, which are going to help our society to grow as a whole. And we really want the future research should be focused on innovative solution to help cooperative scales and ensure their sustainability, ultimately fostering to a more equitable and a sustainable world. Thank you, everyone. That's all from my side.
Thank you so much. I would now invite our expert jury to please ask your queries.
Ms. Dispo, my appreciation for you. As a student, you have justified your presence and the presentation was really good, right? And you people have done a good homework by consolidating three examples, three case studies. So that way it is good.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thing is that when the research area comes, you have to put the research, focus on the research areas. It's generally a case study only, but how the cooperative examples which you are presenting is justifying for the SDG goals, that has to be there. But otherwise, it is a good presentation. Thank you.
Okay. Khushbu, I joined a little late, but I could see you taking three cases, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So Anil is one of the models which is most popular in India. So my request to the student and youth is that there are many other successful models as well. So one should explore that too, right? So because generally we hear is Amul, Ipco, Seva, Lijja. But then in southern India itself, so just explore some other successful case models. Now, when you do the case study, okay, you are relating it with the SDG. Okay, so some methodology to map the SDG with the contribution of cooperatives and some analysis which shows a better correlation. Okay, so that can be done. It's a comprehensive presentation. You have taken good case study, so that's comprehensive. That's good. In case study, I do not know how many of you know about the Yin model by Robert Yin, right? So that is one model of case study which includes case and subunits within it. And it applies very well with the cooperative structure being federative. Okay, so it's a good presentation, good work done. Try and apply the Yin model and you'll come out with good conclusion.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone.
Now, next in line, we have Ganesh Gopal, and he'll be presenting his research on exploring potential for cooperatives in India's gig and platform economy. So please welcome Ganesh Gopal. Over to you, Ganesh. It was completely out. The presentation.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Pleasure to be here. I hope the presentation is being projected. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My respectful regards to all the participants in this conference and the Honorable Julie, Chair, all very respectable and familiar faces from the cooperative movement, Dr. Kumar, Dr. Pichai, Sanjay Vermaji, and all of our new members, familiar faces who have joined us today. So without further ado, I'm just jumping into the presentation in the interest of time. It might be a little long, so I'll try to keep it as short as I can, my presentation, so apologies for that. So my name is Ganesh Gopal. So I've been associated with the movement, worked with organizations like the ICA, CDI, Tinker Foundation, and most recently been associated with the Platform Cooperative Consortium as a fellow of the New School in New York from 2025 to 2026 fellowship. And I'm speaking very much about the similar topic that the PCC also works on, likewise the ICA as well. So jumping into the topic already, the subject itself that I'm talking about here today is to explore the potential for cooperatives in India's Indian platform economy. Fundamentally, see that our policies, our country, cooperatives has been a major engine for growth in the post-independent era in India. And like the one started temples of modern India, which were the public sector undertakings, at that point of time, cooperatives were required to reach the farthest reaches of our country in giving credit and access to capital and such. But today, we much farther away from what cooperatives used to be. First industrial revolution. And now here we are today at the fourth and the fifth industrial revolution, the cusp of the fifth era. And to do what cooperative means for our economy and for all of us indeed. So what are the challenges faced by the workers and how can cooperatives ameliorate these things? So one is the economic instability, the social security gaps, and of course the power imbalances. If I were to just say that in a broad sense, the impact of platform cooperatives. So I want to come to what do you mean by platform cooperatives? Yeah. I need to also explain how do you define platform cooperatives. I'll come to that. But before I get into the crux of the research and the structure, the impact of platform cooperation has been 100% ownership, 30% higher earnings, and 90% worker protection. So I just wanted to put this in front of you so that I can connect both gig cooperativism and how and what it means for India. So I don't need to get into the introduction of what cooperatives are in India. You already know the numbers. We have a British India pattern of cooperation. 1904, we've had the Indian Cooperative Societies Act. And like I mentioned, we have a very robust cooperative ecosystem in India. But unfortunately, our growth and the predominance have been limited mostly to the primary sector and credit cooperatives in India because of these reasons in our development journey. So the feasibilities, again, like I said, a strong cooperative tradition, digital platform needs. We are arguably the fastest growing, well-connected country in the world, and also top 5 in terms of internet, per GB data charges. So, we've already built the internet superhighway. What do we need to do inside that superhighway using cooperatives is the question. So we can look at the existing models like the Kerala Knowledge Economy Mission, the Karnataka Knowledge Economy Mission, Kerala Food Platform and such. But before we jump into that part, I think the format is a little distorted, I think, in between computers. But yeah, there's a report that came out recently. I mean, I wouldn't say too recently, but around 2 years back, in May, July, June of 2023, the India's booming gig and platform economy report by the NITI Aayog. which says, there is a, huge demand for gig workers, which is even expected to explode to even 23.5 million by the year 2029-30. And we did a review of, the gig economy reports of NITI Aayog, ILO, the future of work and decent work, the recent ILC, the International Labour Conference, and also a few Indian labor laws affecting gig workers. So in the recent times, we've also had states like Rajasthan bring in gig worker acts to protect social security, and even a fund of funds to look at how cab aggregation and ride sharing and ride hailing platforms can be implemented in a very equitable sense in the state of Rajasthan. Similarly, on the footsteps, Karnataka, Kerala, and other states have also started looking at legal frameworks, including Telangana, which also has a very active transport-based gig worker union. So the gig economy in India, I already mentioned that there's a series of worker challenges, but still in the absence of, or the vacuum of, legal regulations that mandate social security, redressal, and a lot of these issues that gig workers face on a day-to-day basis. I mean, imagine you have a gig platform probably sitting somewhere in the US or owned by a publicly listed or privately held company in the US. You have a client sitting somewhere in the Middle East or some other corner of the world, and you have the poor gig employee sitting in Kerala or India or Delhi. And so what happens eventually after that, when the dispute happens, where do you go and resolve it? So rather than being bogged down in the nuances of international law, there needs to be a clear mechanism in interest of the fairness of both the gig worker as well as whoever is tasking the gig worker with work. So how do cooperatives come into this entire equation? How are cooperatives a solution? Apart from the broad contours of fair profit distribution, worker rights, and of course, proven viability, the worker cooperative model can be expanded onto the digital economy arena as well. So here the research focus has been looking at how integration can be done within the gig economy. What are the key objectives? Which is to analyze policy implications and eventually the social impact. SDG alignment, a few of our dear colleagues who've spoken before me had already mentioned about the SDG alignments. Not just decent work, innumerable number of SDGs are being covered in the whole process. The research questions and objectives. Can cooperatives provide a sustainable and equitable model for gig workers in India is the research question. The objective one, examine the challenges faced currently by the gig workers within the platform economy and the digital economy. So how do we assess and define the platform economy is another question. A lot of the data that we have is also questionable, unfortunately, so I'll come back to that point. Assess cooperative models as a viable alternative to corporate platforms, and to propose policy recommendations for cooperative integration in the gig sector. The research scope has looked at ride sharing, food delivery, and a few models of both collectivism domestically within our country, not just collectivism, also worker cooperatives. For example, the Uraligal Labour Contract Cooperative Society, the Kudumbashree collective model, which has been much touted all over India and adopted by many other states as well. And internationally, models like Fairmondo, Up and Go. I think my colleague earlier mentioned about the model of Up and Go in the US, where blue-collar workers have been co-owners of a digital platform, just like Urban Clap. Urban Clap owned by their own workers. And fourthly, very, very important for our country, we have a very educated urban middle class who have the requisite skills to take up jobs. But unfortunately, our policy, our enabling environment limits cooperativism to the primary sector. So this is where I feel IT gig work, for example, so many people lost their jobs during COVID. If 10, 20 people can come together, collectivize themselves and bid for projects, big projects in the IT sector, it's very easy to have thousands of platform cooperatives in our country. The hypothesis is that economic stability, cooperatives offer better working conditions and financial security, and not just economic stability for the owner, employee, worker, but also in terms of them simply being resilient structures, resilient to economic crisis, natural calamities, and any sort of, I think, I can say negative externality. Legal frameworks, supportive policies that are essential for platform cooperative success. Similar positive legal support has come up in the recent times in countries like Brazil. Discussions are happening currently in Africa also, but still all these countries are at different phases of development and face different sets of challenges. Some might be rights based, some might be about fair work, some might be about just getting a meal in time for subsistence. That's why we need to look at the third point, the scaling requirements. Financial and digital infrastructure needed for cooperative growth. So when we're going to look at digital platforms, sometimes there is this misimpression, I would say, that people have that technology suddenly comes up and brings a beautiful solution and solves all the world's problems. That doesn't work that way. Technology is not really a solution. Technology is just an enabler. Technology might be the key to transforming a lot of things, but eventually technology needs to be owned by the community, which is where the importance of platform cooperativism comes in. The research approach, the literature review, I've been examining existing research on cooperatives and gig economy. There have been several reports and focus studies and case studies on the PCC, the Platform Cooperative Consortium, which I already mentioned. So a lot of those studies I've been reviewing. A few papers about gig and platform economy. Recently, we also at the ICA had an opportunity to bring out a publication, COP Dialogue 6 on gig and platform, where we were able to see that a lot of problems and challenges faced by gig workers are the same in the global south. But at the same time, when you look at the stage of development of the platform economy, it is very different and diverse when you take each country in the region. I mean, if you look at Asia Pacific, or of course the global south as well. For Africa, it still depends on a lot of exploitation and addressing those issues. In India, we need more of focus on non-primary sectors. Next is policy review, looking at current regulations, things like NITI Aayog, the national cooperation policy in India, and in a few other countries as well, including Japan and Brazil. Case study analysis, investigating successful case studies. What are the benefits of cooperatives for gig workers? Income security, decision making, gender equity, social benefits. Corporate platforms, as you know, are mostly very variable in terms of their work hours, and mostly there is a huge algorithmic bias in favor of exploitation. The corporate and against the gig workers, where there's a lot of wait time, there's a lot of unutilized labor hours. At the same time, we're looking at gig workers eventually getting much lesser than their peers who are probably outside a platform. So there is also clear marked differences. And mind you, this is not ICA propaganda. This is not my propaganda. This is all data from the International Labour Organization and the report on decent work. So also there is a clear gender disparity in terms of how women get paid in the gig and platform space. So all of this can be ameliorated by the cooperative model within the gig space. Fairmondo is a e-commerce platform offering ethical marketplace alternatives. There's a few case studies I quickly want to present. Up and Go, like I mentioned, worker-owned cleaning services platform ensuring fair wages, and irrelevant, I already mentioned ULCCs from India, one of the largest and most respected 100-year-old cooperative celebrating its 100th year in 2025 from Kerala. They've diversified from sectors ranging from construction, starting with construction and labor, to even blockchain and IT services through a subsidiary company. ULCC's legacy and the Kudumbashri are both chartered models from my home state of Kerala. And the financial success over time that these organizations have brought back to the members and also to their communities and the local area has been significant. And other example from, this is not a domestic example, but the two other case studies that I wanted to mention. One is the platform cooperative in Canada. So I'm sure most of us in these last minute presentations, conferences, and PPTs have been scrambling for pictures online, and we ended up going to some iStock photos and pixels and all of that. So did you know that iStock photo charges something like $10 per photo that some brilliant photographer took but they only probably get less than $1 or $2, while $8 goes to iStock Photo. So that's your alternative for iStock Photo. Stocksky is a platform cooperative based out of Canada, which is owned by artists and photographers who receives 50 to 75% of the sales. And it's a democratic governance structure, and eventually it has been a successful business model despite overheads and challenges that they've had to face over time. Up and go similarly, like I said, like the urban company is a good example that we have in India. 95% of the fee goes to the workers, worker control scheduling, and transparent pricing models. India's cooperative strength, I already mentioned about the BIPC, the British Indian pattern of cooperation, how to harness the collective power of cooperatives in areas that are very essential for India. I mean, in India, now thanks to the diversification of packs, they've been able to get into anything ranging from education to public distribution to digital literacy. So common service centers all over India set up around a decade ago, which was initially modeled around the Akshaya centers launched in Kerala around 2 decades back. Now, thankfully, packs are able to get into to diversified areas. Diversified areas where the need of the hour is to provide these services to the common man, ideally through the community, so that it's not purely something that is a bottom line oriented. Through aggregation models of production as the other thing. Environmental cooperation is another area that can contribute to a climate resilient economy. Coming back, why are we doing this? We are de-risking the individual. An individual, if he is going to bid for a project in the event of a health emergency, contingency, or any sort of such issue that happens, he might not be able to address that when he is dealing with a larger project or a corporate. But at the same time, let's say a platform cooperative with around 20-25 employees, they can come together. There's division of labor, there's participatory process for social security. So in Uber versus Aslam, the famous case in California, which stated gig workers should be treated as employees and not as merely as entrepreneurs, was a landmark. And similarly, the case in the UK as well. So in this case, there was a clear outcome that the courts were able to provide. But in the absence of that, how do we provide social security to such gig workers? That is where platform cooperatives, at least through a sharing model, a reserve fund, can keep aside contingency funds for any gig worker requirements. Promoting savings and financial literacy is another thing, and addressing precarity, of course. Benefits of collectivization, again, the similar points that we already mentioned, how we can look at states. See, the labor welfare boards, however vestigial and inefficient and broke these organizations are, they have a wonderful database in most states. So the welfare boards, if we can, turn them around, if we can use this database, work hand in hand with them, if we can bring out alternative models, like there are much failed and touted alternative models, like ranging from Kerala Savari to our Namma Yatri across the country. Some have been successful, some have been not. But few of these have tried working with the welfare boards, though there have been challenges. It is ideal to reach out to the wide base of laborers in various sectors, right from at least in the southern states, we have multiple welfare boards in the agri sector itself. So another area where collectivization in platform economy can happen is aggregation of produce. So one of the examples I wanted to mention was Kerala Food Platform. It's basically at a very pilot stage that it's been. So before I get into that specific example, I just want to show you what is being defined as platform cooperative. It is a cooperatively owned, democratically governed business that uses a protocol, website, or mobile app to facilitate the sale of goods and services. It is an alternative to venture capital funded platforms, as they are owned and governed by those who depend on them, mostly workers, users, and other stakeholders. So, I've started with platform cooperativism and now come back to a few examples that I can probably provide. So the concept I'm hoping that it is clear in this case, because whatever happens through in terms of business through a digital platform and collectively owned can be defined as a platform cooperative. It's a democratic alternative to the gig economy, and there is democratic decision making as well. So this is the example I was mentioning, the Kerala food platform. So this has been a pilot project in Kerala, tried out in the Evikara Panchayat of Paravur in Ernakulam district, by supported by the local cooperative bank. So this has been a proof of concept stage, the Kerala food platform, where traceability, participatory guarantee system, and e-commerce have been integrated. So this was initially brought out as part of, I think, 2022 state budget, and later it was integrated as a farming model that envisages to expand to all cooperatives, primary cooperatives in the district and later across the state. The Kerala Innovation Development Council is kind of supporting the project right now. The good thing about this is, one, traceability, second, safe food in a state like Kerala, where agriculture itself is less, so is industry. We run mostly on services. Safe food has been a challenge because we depend on our daily bread or sustenance for neighboring states, and there's been a lot of pesticide and health issues and all of that. So why I'm bringing this up is to mention, even in the primary sector, there's a huge scope for aggregation. There is a huge scope for traceability and fair work for the agriculture laborers. How do you build a platform cooperative? There is a platform coop development kit that is available online. I would recommend most of my interested colleagues to check that out, especially our young colleagues here. Few examples of urban platform co-ops. Up and Go, I already mentioned. Smart co-op is something I think has a huge scope of relatability in our country. It works out of 9 countries and 40 cities. I think they had around, they started in 1998, even before the proliferation of the internet. But, because social security is very robust in these European and Scandinavian countries, they've been able to have a very seamless process for gig workers. And what Smart does is, they kind of provide social security, insurance, and, a kind of safety net that gives, if, for instance, if I am a worker registered in Smart and I do a piece of work and the client does not give me the payment in time, or there is some kind of a dispute, Smart makes sure that I get the payment, and the dispute resolution is taken care by Smart, and Smart charges something like a 6 or 7% every year for the total income that is brought in. So there's a lot of shared tools, there's a risk coverage, general services. So this might be a very interesting model that India can emulate a lot from. Here, in the relevance for India, it's an ideal alternative to foreign direct investment, because we talk about Atmanirbhar, we talk about what do you call Viksit Bharat, that is eventually looking at import substitution and as well as lesser foreign investment. Am I winding up, or do I have a few minutes?
You have to wind it up.
Okay, right. So localized providers, decentralized aggregation. So local solutions, local providers, but addressing local needs. For example, there are various states, for example, the city of Chennai. Recently, we did a study in the worker cooperative project in Chennai. Around 17 to 19% of the entire city's population is elderly. So here we can provide palliative care solutions with verified care workers through a validated system, sitting anywhere in the world. Imagine elderly parents and others, and you can trace this and provide services through platform economy. Urban household work, I don't need to address that more because we've addressed it already. One example again is the Rasoi app from the Ernakulam Food, the Restaurant Owners Association, the Kerala Hotel Restaurant Owners Association. So one of my co-founders had the good fortune to work with them as an advisor, as a pro bono advisor. So they also tried something like a platform cooperative model. I don't know if it is still successful, but eventually they were able to bring an alternative for Swiggy. Challenges we've already covered mostly, including effects of politicization, the lack of interest that youth have in cooperatives, let alone platform cooperativism. So this is one way to bring back the interest. What next? I think this is the final one or two slides. So there are newer areas and sunrise sectors that the cooperative ecosystem in the country can evolve to. These are skill and information collectives, knowledge economy collectives, platform economy pilot projects that we can try out. Decentralized autonomous organizations are digital native structures that have been very popular in the recent times and which fundamentally follow the principles of cooperation itself. Community data trust and data cooperatives are another digital native form that the entire cooperative digital space can try out. And institutional quality, the fourth point is very important because that is what will retain youth or bring back youth into the cooperative ecosystem. So, yeah, I think most of these points we've already covered. The last few slides, legal frameworks are something that we need to continue to lobby for, advocate for, and I think the responsibility lies within ourselves, within the movement, to educate lawmakers, to lobby for more conducive laws. See, sometimes the regulators or the registrars of cooperation in our country keep forgetting that they are also given a fiduciary responsibility for development of co-ops, not just regulation. So, yeah, concluding remarks, workers need to democratically own them, develop a sound and robust sustainable platform. Like I said, technology needs to be owned, bring in international expertise, build enabling policy and legal environment. India does have everything that we need for a mix for an immense potential to drive our economy, and collective enterprises are the future. Youth engagement is also a key factor in all of this. And with this, I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you very much. Sorry for taking so much time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ganesh. You have really made us to sit and listen to you. It's really a wonderful presentation. Of course, two things. One is the gig workers. Second one is the platform cooperatives, how this can be managed. In fact, ICA Domestos gave me a project report at Chennai city for gig workers, and then how the issue can be solved for the gig workers at Chennai city, so that whatever the models which you are developing at Chennai city could able to be replicated in the other parts also. That is one of the projects the ICA Domus Trust has given, and then they have the document, and now they are pursuing it to start the cooperatives in Chennai city. So once if that is over, we could able to see the success of it, and then slowly we can try to replicate the same model in the other cities also. And really, come out with good case studies also. That has to be appreciated. And particularly in India also, we have got few cases like ULCCS, Kurbashri. Probably you may not be knowing about what is this Kurbashri. It is nothing but self-help group only. In Kerala, it is called Kurbashri. In our places, we call that as self-help groups. Right? That is one of the good examples we have to take, and then we have to find out what are the activities, entrepreneurial activities this Kurbashri is doing. Because most of the places they do only microfinance, whereas in Kerala, the Kurbashri's activity is totally different. And that model we have to see and then try to find out the possibility of implementing in the other places also, right? That is one example. ULCCS, as he said, it's a 100 years old cooperative which does an government service. And yesterday there was a discussion also, old age people, already they are having old age people for entrepreneurial activity. They have got another center, and then they have got an IT park also. And apart from that, almost all the good works, particularly road laying, road bridges, buildings, so so one point which you said, just I remember, technology should be owned by the community. It's really one good hashtag which you have I have to just appreciate for that. And in fact, I just recommend you just go through one publication which has been made by Mr. Ganesh. That is Coop Dialogue. It's exclusively a special issue on gig workers. It's worth reading, and if possible, you just download that in the ICA website and then just go through it. And they have also come out with the benefits of cooperatives for gig workers. I think it's a good presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Ganesh, there was one, I just wanted to have information about it, that had also started a platform cooperative pilot experiment.
They had started two, in fact. One was in the agriculture space, one was in the beauty parlor workers.
So what happened to that model, and why it could not be carried out like that, and what lessons can it be, taken to, to further strengthen this model in India also?
Thank you, Sanjay sir, for bringing this up. In fact, this is something that I'm personally interested in studying about. So the PCC fellowship is focusing on failure models. What are the failed models? In fact, right now they've also gone and tried to collectivize construction workers in 2021, SEVA. So we're trying to understand how that is working out, how we can take that forward. Both agriculture mostly it has been digitization efforts. The beauty parlor model did not really work out as much as they had anticipated. But we're trying to study what are the common recipes for non-failure through these. So I think a detailed study is required. So yeah.
Regarding the presentation, everything is okay. But basically, when you are looking at the research point of view, what is the data you have on gig workers, right? That we have not made presentation.
Right.
And then what is the actual problem these people are having? How a solution can be brought? I mean, the case studies are okay, and a few cases you have given, and there are umpteen number of problems with the gig workers, So that can be, at least few can be listed, and then how this solution can be made through the platform cooperative. So that you can just.
Right, so thank you for that feedback. I think within the gig space itself, it is very, I would say it's very large. Within my state itself, I think nearly 2.5 million gig workers are there. And each state, the issues that they face are different. So ideally, we should probably sectorally study. One is upskilling, one is social security, and see for each of these sub-domains and sub-issues where cooperative can give an intervention. Social security is the most obvious one. The other areas like data cooperatives, there also big workers can, for example, 25 lakh people, you have the data of these people. They are going to use some kind of ATM, insurance product or something. And all this data is eventually being sold to some other country or some corporate sitting somewhere. So I think a proper mapping would need to be done with total gig workers. Again, the questionable fact here comes to are our data and figures even correct for gig workers? We had a one-member commission headed by Dr. Ananda Bose in COVID time that was studying gig worker issues, and he had submitted a very detailed report as well. NITI Aayog gives some other figures, and I think private agencies like Fair Work and then ILO, we have very divergent figures. So the numbers I'm still a little concerned about in India, but definitely the mapping needs to be done where each of these subsectors and issues, how can cooperatives provide a solution? So yeah, thank you, Professor.
The Mr. Ganesh Gopal is representing 23 countries. I feel to representative. But mostly say that my state. Yeah, I know.
At the end of the day,
Yeah, 29 countries.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Ganesh. Next, we have Pradyuman Dilip Kole, and he'll be presenting on the topic the role of research and development in empowering sustainable development goals of self-employment for entrepreneurs and cooperatives. Not second last, no? Yes, yes. I request the participants to please adhere to the time limit.
A very good afternoon, everyone. It is an absolute honor to extend my greetings to our esteemed and most respected professors, Dr. Pichai sir, Dr. Malika ma'am, Dr. Sanju Kumar sir, and Dr. Srija ma'am, and my fellow dignitaries. I just now completed my bachelor's in physiotherapy and presenting a research paper in front of the PhD holders quite uh, new, interesting, and challenging for me. Uh, the title of my research paper is the role of research and development in empowering a sustainable development goal of self-employment for entrepreneurs and cooperatives. Uh, these are the contents. Uh, in introduction, research and development in the healthcare sector has become a key driver of innovation, creating opportunities for entrepreneurs and promoting self-employment among cooperatives and professionals. Healthcare entrepreneurs may find it necessary to create innovative business strategies and source of income. Although healthcare is considered a fundamental human right, it still requires financial support to maintain its services. Uh, these are the uh, past theories which countries are used to boost their economy from the economical crisis. So, during the World War II, the period following World War II witnessed substantial investment in research. Then the resource-based view theory it states that knowledge regarded as an intangible asset is essential for attaining a sustainable competitive advantage. Then the triple bottom line, which it emphasizes the capacity of research and development to harmonize economic, social, and environmental goals in pursuit of sustainability. Then the Grameen Bank in Bangladesh, uh, uh, which is founded by the Mohammad Yunus, which is a microcredit experiment in Jobra village in 1976. Uh, a research-driven financial model enable rural entrepreneurs and activities poverty where microfinance innovative initiatives. Then the green revolution in India, everyone familiar about it. A notable illustration characterized by research and developmental innovations in seed technology and irrigation that significantly enhance agriculture productivity. In recent years, there has been a notable increase in academic interest towards sustainable entrepreneurship, which aims to tackle social and environmental issues. Necessity entrepreneurship arises from the urgent need to combat economic challenges or joblessness, in contrast to opportunity entrepreneurship, which is motivated by the exploration of fresh market prospects. Uh, this summary delves into the transformative influence of healthcare, research and development on empowering entrepreneurs and students to pursue independent careers. Today's the research question is how does engagement in research and development within the healthcare sector empower entrepreneurs and cooperative to achieve self-independent employment, and what factors contribute to their success in leveraging R&D for entrepreneurial ventures? Objectives of today's paper is this study explores the role of research and development in promoting sustainable self-employment opportunities for entrepreneurs and cooperatives, addressing socio-economic challenges and contributing to sustainable developmental goals. There are covering two sustain SDG in this paper, which is goal one, which is first is goal 8, which is to boost the economic growth, and then eventually the result may be decrease in the poverty. So अगर हमें इकोनॉमिक बूस्ट करना है तो टुडे एंटरप्रेन्योरल एरा है तो स्टूडेंट को और जो यंग पॉपुलेशन है उनको हम एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप की तरह प्रोत्साहित करेंगे जिससे कि वो अपना खुद खुद सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयमेंट क्रिएट कर सके फॉर देमसेल्फ एंड अदर्स. The main theme of the paper is Swayam Rozgar, Swayam Rozgar is already in Maharashtra state, but basically it's for the after the graduation or after any academic, the two question is already in our mind that, whether I get employment or not. But I think no one can give you the employment. We have to create it. Uh, no one hands us employment. We must rise to the challenge of creating it ourselves, not only for our own future, but for others as well, through power of entrepreneurship. The methodology I took for this paper is this study uses a quantitative research design and survey approach to gather data of 300 healthcare R&D entrepreneurs and cooperatives. Uh, the online questionnaire Google form will assess their involvement, pursue benefit, challenges, and results. Statistical tools include descriptive statistics and multiple regressions to identify key variables and predictors for successful entrepreneurs. So due to the lack of time, I'm not able to cover many institutes, organization, cooperative organization. But one quote I learned from Mahatma Gandhi is that you must be the change you want to see in the world. So I started this uh, initiative from my institute only, taking 300 healthcare R&D entrepreneurs and cooperatives. I never familiar with the word about the cooperatives, but I know that community health doctors are directly touch with the cooperatives through rural health training centers and urban health training centers. So these are the results. Uh, uh, the question was, are you currently engaged in healthcare related R&D activities? So the 28.33% are engaged in said yes, and 21.67% said no out of the 300. Then if yes, what type of R&D activities are you involved in? Then 74.33% is in a their model is in clinical trials due to they are from healthcare workers, that's why. And technological developments are 9%, process improvement are 31.33%, and others are 7%. Then type of R&D activities are you involved? These are the graph of previous slide. Then how would you rate the importance of R&D for entrepreneur success in healthcare? So uh, top score 5 given by the most of the score given by the top 5. Uh, then Then what motivate you to engage in R&D activities? So most of the people, participants said that collaborating opportunities within the many organizations. And then how has engagement in R&D impacted your entrepreneurial journey? So enhance knowledge and skills. Uh, has R&D involvement improved your ability to create self-independent employment? So most of the people said yes. And what challenges have you faced in leveraging R&D for entrepreneur ventures? So lack of access to advanced technology. There is no universal protocol for the students to start their startup. Which factors have contributed most to your success in utilizing R&D? So training and skill development programs. How would you describe the role of government policies in promoting healthcare R&D for entrepreneur ventures? So most of the people say neutral, which is some policies are there, some are not. What additional support would help entrepreneurs better leverage R&D in the healthcare sector? So training and skill development programs, most of the people. Would you like to contact? Would you like to be contacted for a follow-up discussion? So most of the people said yes. This is the future implications protocol I have for the NCUI. So they apply in their curriculum so that as Dr. Sanjeev Kumar initiated Coop Connect, how student connect to the NCUI. So, sir, I think students have their research question in their mind, but then they don't have a universal protocol how to convert a research question into startups. So I think, sir, this protocol we can use in your initiative, and we starting a chain. So these are discussion based on the results, and in conclusion, R&D plays a transformative role in advancing the sustainable development goal of safe employment in the healthcare sector. By fostering innovation, and R&D enables entrepreneurs and cooperative to develop products and services that address healthcare challenges, creating new business opportunities and driving economic growth. However, challenges such as access to technology, regulatory barriers, and limited collaboration must be addressed to unlock the full potential of R&D driven self-employment. These are the references. Thank you. Actually, this protocol I made in cardboard. So like that, uh, first they are when we are any working domain. If anyone initiate, I have this question means research question. Then from that working domain, a research question must be unique. Greater the research question, the greater will be the solution. Then research house must be there so that they come up their research question and go to the research house, and the further process will be. Then comes to the intellectual property, which is if there is a research question, ideas protocol, we can protect from the frauds and all by the licensing, infringement, copyright, patent, branding. Then product development, uh, then clinical trials of that startup. Then comes to the marketing strategy through the social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. Uh, then the collaboration and commercialization of that product. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pradhuman. Expert Jury, do you have any question to ask? Thank you.
Only one thing. How do you relate with the cooperatives? That is missing, because your title says that entrepreneurs and cooperatives, So that link must be there, because it is basically a conference on cooperatives,
Yes,
right?
Sir.
Otherwise, you have made a suggestion to NCUI.
Yes,
That's
sir.
one
Sir,
part.
एक्चुअली क्या होता है, पहले रिसर्च क्वेश्चन आता है, देन सॉल्यूशन आता है. इन माय केस आई फाइंड आउट द सॉल्यूशन and link to the NCUI, how NCUI will
Play a role into it.
Yes, sir.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pradhuman. The last presentation for the conference is from Dr. Rachita Agrawal, and she'll be presenting on the topic role of cooperatives in mitigating climate change. Rachita, over to you. All the very best.
A very good afternoon to everyone. My research title is Role of Cooperative Societies in Mitigating Climate Change, Catalyst of Action-Oriented Sustainable Approach. I am Rachita Agrawal, Independent Research Fellow from GGSIP University. So the basic theme that I came up with is how cooperatives can be used for climate action. As we know, since 1979, you can see in the graph also, till January 2024, We have observed that the climate has deteriorated to its ex- climate has deteriorated, and we had the ozone hole which was increasing year by year. So now how the cooperatives can build the prosperity from the local level is what I am proposing. And what all SDG 13 targets can be mitigated and adapted through the cooperative actions. So I'm just going through the brief of how cooperative economic benefits it benefits the locals, and I think this all has been discussed. So I'm just moving to the research objectives and the key findings. Community-based development, the local economic development. So the research objective of my paper are first to address the key focus areas of SDG 30 and its interrelation with other SDGs. So it's very important to establish how SDG 13, that is climate action, is interrelated with other SDGs and how it affects, impacts the other SDGs. Then second is to explore the efficacy of cooperatives as a catalyst for action-oriented, sustainable approach in mitigating the climate change. Third is to highlight the opportunities, challenges, and prospects at different levels to accelerate the mitigation of climate change. So, as we know, there are multiple studies which are done on climate action and how we are being impacted by climate. But I hardly find studies where the interrelation between the climate action and the cooperatives is done. So now, in my study, uh, I'm defining the targets and how the cooperatives are interlinked with those targets. So I have adopted doctrinal method of research in which the governance frameworks are analyzed, the academic research work, the policies and other secondary resources. The descriptive and critical analysis is undertaken with the support of examples, and I have also proposed a model questionnaire which can be implemented by other future researchers for particular cooperatives. So I have given you the model questionnaire also to the panel. If you could just go through that also in the end. The limitation and future scope of my study, I discussed like I have prepared a model questionnaire which can be implemented in any cooperative, and we can assess how the activities of that cooperative are climate friendly, or how that cooperative can take to the journey to the sustainable development. So that is the goal of the research. And since the sustainable development is a very important element when we talk about our planet and the future generation, the intergenerational justice, which says that present and future both generations should have the resources to maintain their lifestyle, to have those amenities that we have. Our future generation should also enjoy. So the concept of intergenerational justice is very important. That's why this study becomes more significant. How the community can take us to the cooperatives can take us to the path where we achieve the sustainable development goals, particularly the SDG 13, which is climate action. So to make my study more focused, I am focusing only on SDG 13, which is climate action. This is a table which I have prepared in which I have established the interrelation of SDG 13 with other SDGs. There are multiple. I will be discussing SDG 1 and 2 for brevity of time and presentation. So SDG 1 and 2 discuss about poverty and hunger. So as we know that due to climate change, there are high possibilities of floods, droughts, and the irregular patterns of rainfall also affects the productivity of crops. So in those cases, the food ecosystem, the supply chain deteriorates. So that is something which affects the SDG 1 and 2, that is poverty and hunger. On the similar lines, SDG 14 and 15, which mentions that we should take care of life on the earth and below the water. In both the cases also, whenever there is a change in the climate patterns, the ocean currents changes, there are heat waves, there are cyclones, there are tsunami, and all these impacts both the biodiversity on the earth and in the ocean. So this is how the SDG 13 is very important in consonance with other SDGs. Now, coming on to if we discuss about how cooperatives vis-a-vis climate change we can see. So there are two perspectives to analyze. First is what are the impacts of climate change on cooperatives, and secondly, how cooperatives can be a tool to mitigate the climate change. So these could be the two focus points when we talk about cooperatives and climate change. So what could be the possible impacts of climate change on cooperatives? So first could be the disruption of agriculture cooperatives, with change in rainfall patterns, with change in the supply of water and soil erosion and all other things. The production is affected, and eventually the cooperatives which are working on the field of agriculture, in the food production industry, they are affected. Similarly, with the cyclones, tsunami, the infrastructure, the irrigation systems they have created are somehow damaged, and it also leads into market shifts and volatility in the financial status they have. And also at times the government changes the policies. For instance, if there is odd even in Delhi, then there might be a cooperative who have only the car or the transportation with even number. So in those change of policy, the regulatory shift impacts the working of cooperatives. So this is how the climate change can impact the operations of cooperatives. Now coming on to how the cooperatives can be a tool to integrate SDG 13 and achieve the SDG 13 targets. So the first target is strengthen the resilience and adaptive capacity, sorry, to climate resist related disasters. So coming on to the cooperatives are the only community model which allows the members to have a platform where they can express their ideas. And in case of climate related actions, it is always necessary the locals solve the local problems, whether it is of climate action or whether it is the dispute amongst them. So in the first target can very well be executed by the atmosphere which the cooperatives provide. Secondly, the second target which says integrate the climate change measures into policy and planning. So cooperatives can work with the government agencies and they can formulate policies where they can provide funds to the cooperatives who are working in the direction of climate change. For instance, if there is a cooperative who has started with the objective to make the handicrafts from waste material, then the cooperatives among themselves can have this policy to support them, to give subsidies to them, and in this way the SDG target 13.2 can be achieved. Then 13.3, build knowledge and capacity to meet climate change. We know that cooperatives are the community of people, and making people understand we need community. A community can build a knowledgeable community. So it is very important that we have the cooperatives which are dedicated only to educate the people about the climate change, the policies or the actions they can undertake on the daily basis in order to mitigate the climate effect they have about their actions and undertake the climate friendly policies. Then target 13.4, which says implement the UN framework convention on climate change. Since we know that there are funds which are provided by UNFCCC, and these funds can be utilized in order to decrease the cost of green technologies. These green technologies can be acquired by cooperatives, and after acquiring these kind of technology, cooperatives can use them to build a resilient community and fight against the climate change. The next is promote mechanism to raise capacity for planning and management. So regulatory challenges might be there because at times we see that government supports corporates more than cooperatives because they give you more taxes. So that is the policy, but it is heightened that we understand that corporates might give you a lot of profits, but the human development is something which cooperatives can only give you. So it is very important to have the sensitive approach when we are making the regulatory framework for cooperatives. Now, what all could be the models or what all could be the sectors in which cooperatives can work? So first could be the renewable energy production, then waste management, water sanitation and storage, sustainable agricultural practices, clean fuel and public transportation, education and research on climate change. In my research paper, I've discussed these at length. Right now, I'm just pointing it down because of my throat also, I'm not able to speak a lot. So these are the areas and sectors which I have discussed in my paper also. Now, as we were having a discussion yesterday, so ma'am mentioned about that if you have a story, catch and convey your story. So ma'am, here is one story. So this is from our hostel mess. In our university, the hostel mess is operated by the students itself, the hostel residents. And uh, one of the resident have given the video, and whatever food is left, that food is sent to the animal center so that there is no wastage of food. So I am just playing the video. Stop. So basically, there's some technical error, I think. The video was about how the cooperative mess is organized by is operated by the students, and the waste of every after every meal is given to the animal centers, so that first of all there's no wastage of food. The students are getting how to work together in a cooperative mess, and the things are managed quite well. We get a good food, a tasty food, like community kitchen, which we just have lunch over here also. So yeah. Now, what are the key findings? So the key findings, first of all, there is an interrelation between SDG 13 and the cooperatives, and cooperatives are efficient enough to uh, to meet the targets of SDG 13, that is climate change, and with support of government and youth, these targets can be achieved. I have also prepared three proposed plan of action. Uh, uh, can you please make it slideshow? Yeah. So, ma'am, match and make your own story. So, three proposed plan of action. So, first plan of action is the questionnaire, the model questionnaire which I have prepared. So I have prepared the model questionnaire which have 7 sections which deals with energy use and efficiency. So every cooperative is given the questionnaire to fill out how come they are using the energy, what kind of sustainable agriculture and resource management practices they have, how are they managing their how come they are managing their waste and taking up the recycling activities, then what kind of sustainable transport for mobility they are using in their activities, then section 5th, are they undertaking any sessions for climate education and community engagement, then section 6 deals with how whether NCUI is monitoring them and assessing them on regular basis on the basis of their climate friendly activities, and then what are the future climate action that they tend to or they plan to further take. In this method, the NCUI will be able to collect the data also, and then on the basis of this, they can also have yearly awards or grants and recognition for the cooperatives who are working to undertake the climate friendly activities. So this will be both an assessment and encouragement, and then finally the recognition aspect will be covered. Then my second proposal plan of action is that since it is international cooperative year, so I suggest that NCI could have a competition where different people are invited to just give a idea of formulating a cooperative. Like it could be like we have in legal department, we have moot courts. So it is a dummy courtroom setup. So you can also create teams and you can ask the students to build a cooperative. Just think of your idea. What could be the possible methods or processes that you will be undertaking among yourselves as a group of 10, and the best idea should be given the logistic support and the financial grants from NCUI, and they should actually be converted from an idea to the performing part. And we will have maybe 10-15 cooperative societies working in climate action direction, in the direction of climate action. And then the third is something which I came up for this pool of people if they are interested. So as we know that every year from October to December we all are coughing, and my allergy is also triggered because of the air pollution. So I came up with this idea that can we have a cooperative which recycles the stubble burning, the material, the leftovers of harvest. This is the last point. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So since NCUI is associated with PAX and IFCO, so maybe we can use that leftover, which is all, which every year is burned. The stubble burning can be stopped by reusing those material in formulating the cups or plates, or maybe in making them as a fertilizer. And since NCUI is very much close to the PAX also and IFCO also, so we can have a cooperative society which works in this direction. So this is a proposed plan of action 3. And then just a reminder, everyone has said this, building inter-community networks and collaboration that we are building right now also is very important on global level also, local level also, national level also. So it is very important to interact and to exchange the ideas and take steps which are in the direction of climate action. Thank you so much. And if there are any questions, please. Yeah. And I'm really sorry for the interruptions in between. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rachita. Any questions from the jury? I just want to tell you that you were talking about Coop pitches. NCI organizes Coop pitches. In fact, the very first in the very first week of this month only, we had Coop pitch where 5 groups of students, approximately 30 students, came to give this Coop pitch. So we keep on organizing those kind of ideation to formulation kind of things at NCUI.
I think then dissemination of that Coop pitches is very important, because
it is also disseminated. If you follow our social media handles, then you would have known it. And if you would have followed our magazines also, you would have known it, because we regularly tell those stories through our magazines to
ma'am, the problem is that since everyone is not mainstream into cooperatives, like we like to research about cooperatives, that then we are researching.
But then you need to be vigilant enough to, interact with social media handles at least.
Yeah, it's ambassadors. I'm talking about the ambassadors. Like you vote in a college, and then like we have moot courts. Okay. Focal point. Nodal point. Yes, yes, we are good. Well done. Well done. Good present.
Thank you so much. I would now request the chair to please summarize the session.
We have come to the end of the session. the end of the paper presentation, and it was a very insightful and thought-provoking paper presentation session yesterday and today also. So there were papers on diverse subjects in cooperative development, and there were experts and the scholars who have just started researching in the field of cooperatives, and something, it was a mixture of both research and analysis and information sharing. And because it was the first youth research conference, and maybe over the period of time, we will have more qualitative research presentation. And some of the papers, I think I can understand the limitations in the sense that some of them, they were new to the cooperative sector, and whatever the research, it was more, the papers were more analytical and more instead of pure research oriented. But then it was a the diverse subjects on cooperatives were covered, whether it is platform cooperatives, whether it is health cooperatives, whether it is renewable energy cooperatives. And everyone, all the papers tried to link it with the main theme, sustainable development goals also. And similarly, there was a very good presentation on youth and women also, the women important aspects of cooperatives. So I think it was a complete comprehensive coverage of all the issues related to cooperative development. And again, digital platform, AI, and all the platform cooperatives, all these were covered. And we had a very, tough exercise in, selecting the papers, abstracts, so of so many abstracts which we had got. But I think for the initial first research conference, I think a start has been made. So that is all from my side. Professor Pichai, would you like to say something?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. So this brings us to the end of the technical session. Thank you.